Good day, respected judges, teachers, and friends. My name is Prithvin Tanabalan, and I am truly honored to stand here as a representative of SMK Bukit Putra, the Pembaca Bestari this year. To begin with, academics have always been my foundation. Although there is room for improvement, I have consistently achieved remarkable results in my studies. Furthermore, I am not only focused on academics but also actively involved in co-curricular activities. For instance, I serve as a prefect, the vice chairman for both the robotics club and my sports house. And I also have proudly represented my school at the state level national robotics competition, winning third place. Not only that, I am a part of my school's TVPSS, and we as a team have achieved second place for the district level video creative competition and fourth place for the district level mini documentary competition. Ultimately, these achievements are not just numbers or titles. However, they represent my ability to balance both academics and co curricular life with determination, utmost passion, and resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, books are more than just paper and ink. Instead, they are teachers, motivators, and lifelong companions. Hence, today I would like to share with you three titles that have significantly shaped my perspectives. Firstly, let us look at Atomic Habits, written by James Clear and published in 2018. This book has become one of the most influential self help titles of our time. In essence, Clear explains how small habits, when repeated daily, can transform into extraordinary results. More importantly, it motivates us to focus on progress rather than perfection, reminding us that every small step counts towards success. Moving on, Between the World and Me by Tennessee Coates, published in 2015, is equally impactful, though in a very different way. This book was presented as a memoir and a heartfelt letter from the author to his teenage son. On one hand, it discusses the painful realities of being African American in modern America. On the other hand, it also inspires readers to embrace empathy, justice, and solidarity. Ultimately, Coates leaves us with a message that while struggles exist, hope and strength can still be found. Finally, poetry has always been the heartbeat of human expression. From Shakespeare's sonnets to Maya Angelou's powerful verses, poetry carries the weight of emotion in just a few lines. And then comes Tupac Shakur, who proves that poetry does not need to wear a crown of academic prestige to matter. It only needs honesty. His collection, The Rose That Grew from Concrete, is not just a book, but a window into a young man's soul. This remarkable collection of poems was written by the late and great Tupac Shakur between 1989 and 1991, long before he became the legendary rapper who inspired countless conscious artists worldwide. To begin with, the title itself is profoundly thought provoking. The rose that grew from concrete is a metaphor for resilience, the idea that beauty and greatness can emerge from the harshest environments. Think about it. Concrete is cold, hot, and unwelcoming, just like the harsh environment Tupac was born into. A rose has no business growing there, yet against all odds it rises. Isn't that what resilience really is? To grow, not because conditions are perfect, but because you refuse to stay buried. The rose becomes a universal symbol for anyone who has ever felt trapped by their circumstances, yet still dared to reach for the sun. Similarly, Tupac, the acclaimed hood poet himself, is that rose, emerging from poverty, systemic oppression, and violence, yet still shining as an artist, a poet, and voice of his generation. In addition, this book also connects to the readers on a deeper level through its formatting. The pages of the books are an organized amalgamation of real pages ripped straight out of what seems to be adolescent Tupac's poetry book. which is filled with his handwritings, doodles, and scribbles that add character along with typed versions right beside. Subsequently, this posthumous release features poems with a wide range of themes. Love, where Tupac reveals his vulnerability and tenderness towards some people he knows personally, as well as the deep admiration for his idols, namely Vincent van Gogh, Nelson Mandela, and Marilyn Monroe. Social justice, he reflects his awareness of inequality in the system that was born out of chains and whips and his call for change. Dreams and ambitions, showing the hunger of a young man with a raging flame to create something greater than himself that will last a lineage. Identity and self expression, highlighting the struggles of balancing personal truths with society's expectations. Among the poems in this collection, one that truly captured my attention is In the Depths of Solitude. In this piece, Tupac explores the struggle between two sides of himself. One that wants to live strong and independent, and another that longs for companionship, love, and acceptance. It reads, I exist in the depths of solitude, pondering my true goal, trying to find peace of mind and still preserve my soul, constantly yearning to be accepted and from all receive respect, never compromising but sometimes risky, and that is my only regret. A young heart with an old soul. How can there be peace? How can I be in the depths of solitude when there are two inside of me? This duo within me causes the perfect opportunity to learn and live twice as fast as those who accept simplicity. This poem stands out because it reveals Tupac not as a famous rapper or cultural icon, but as a human being, wrestling with universal emotions. On the surface, it may seem personal, but in reality, it speaks to all of us. Who among us has not felt torn between independence and connection, between strength and vulnerability? Although Tupac's poetry may not be on the highest degree of standards in terms of complexity and dexterity, it was always sincere, and because of that, it cuts you deeper than a blade. Therefore, Tupac's poetry proves that literature should not be confined to scholars or novelists. Conversely, it lives in the voices of anyone brave enough to express their truth. His words teach us that strength comes from struggle and beauty often grows out of pain. Ladies and gentlemen, books like Atomic Habits, Between the World and Me, and The Rose That Grew from Concrete are more than just pages to be read. They are lessons for life. They teach us discipline, empathy, resilience, and above all, the power of hope. Just as Tupac's rose broke through the concrete, I believe I too embody that spirit, striving through challenges, balancing academics and co curriculars, and continuing to bloom. Thank you, and rest in power, Pa.